Yo, check it out. What's up? What's up? It's your boy Kaotic One, and I want to give a shout out to Art of Dialogue because they dropped a hot interview with one of my favorites, Gene Deal. Now, my question to you is: could Biggie's homeboy D-Roc had lined Biggie up and didn't know that he was? I don't know, man. But according to Gene Deal, we about to get into this right now and see what he had to say. Let's do it.
I just want people to know that I want to say something regarding the whole trial that came out that I thought that was significant. And another content creator had somebody who came out and spoke on his stuff. And this is about D-Roc. I did a whole, you don't mind if I do this, Mighty, right?
No, break it all down. You got all the time in the world, man.
All right, thanks, brother. I did a whole show. It's called The Biblical Betrayal of Biggie Smalls, where I lined up whatever happened to Big that night that week, and how it got played out and where he lost his life. When I said that D-Roc and Puff had Big go to that party. Now, it came out in the trial about D-Roc. Cassie was mentioning a lot of stuff about D-Roc. It's a couple of stories I knew. One, D-Roc told me the story. You understand? When I first was trying to get in touch with Puff. And two, I heard what Cassie had said. But I don't want to address that because I don't know your line of questioning. But I do want to address this, that D-Roc is the one who got Big out the room, and that's when Puff had took D-Roc about all day, and me and Big was in the Winnebago together talking about his whole life story. Big told me his whole life story. I told this 1,000 times, brother. But in the trial, Cassie had said something about D-Roc being head of Puff security after I had left. You understand? And that's when D-Roc had came home. You understand? They all moved out to California, the whole 9 yards. Now, D-Roc let Puff trick him. I don't believe that D-Roc was that sinister and knew what he was doing. I can't believe that he knew what he was doing and getting Big to that party. I knew that Puff may have promised him something. Puff may have promised D-Roc something to help him get Big to that party. Because for some reason, Big...
Well, I would still want to know, though, wouldn't D-Roc be like, why you want him at the party so bad, though? There's so many questions behind that one right there, but let's continue.
Big had to be at that party because Puff is the one who, and you'll see in Kirk Burroughs' papers, that Puff is the one who scratched out Big trip from going to London, and then turned around and lied that Big didn't want to go to London, which was a bunch of crap. You understand what I'm saying? Because he asked Clark Kent to go to London with him. He asked Clark Kent to go to London with him. And Clark Kent was going to go to London with him, God bless the dead. You understand? Clark Kent told that story. Now, in this trial, Cassie was telling how D-Roc and Puff was trying to line Suge Knight up. But like I said, I'm not going to get into that right now. I'm just going to get in the fact that D-Roc has been with Puff since Big died. You understand? He went and did a little time, and when he was in jail, he was letting everybody know when he come home, Puff was going to take care of him. And he became head of Puff security, making sure Puff was all right. Puff also gave him that clothing line, which was Bully. It was Big's ideal, but it was Invisible Bully. You understand? Gave him that clothing line. They was doing a little work, and he was doing the T-shirts and everything like that. And I guess Puff was actually, paying him back for helping him get Big to that party. I'm glad Miss Wallace ain't here, brother, to see and hear what we're finding out about D-Roc now and the things that he did and how he was, so close to Puff and doing some of the things with Puff. And it's crazy right now. I'm glad Miss Wallace is not here to hear that because she was somewhat fond of D-Roc. You understand? She was really fond of D-Roc. But it's crazy, man, how all this stuff is going on. And I told this story, and now it's become viral on a lot of platforms and a lot of things is going viral on the internet that D-Roc helped line Big up, for that night Big got murdered. You understand? And it was crazy, and it goes through my mind every time I hear something about that when I'm seeing D-Roc hold his head talking about, yo, they got my man, the night Big got shot up. So I just wanted to bring that out there, bro. And you might have some more questioning on that later on or whatever, I don't know. But you go ahead and do your thing, man. That was real big on this trial to me, to hear that come out there like that.
Wow, man. But speaking of Suge, Cassie testified that Diddy stopped in the middle of a freak off. When D-Roc came in the room and told Diddy that Suge was at a diner, you know anything about that? Can you break that down?
Well, see, I know two situations like that. See, Cassie told the story on the witness stand about how Puff and her was in a freak off, and then D-Roc intervened or whatever like that, and they masked themselves up in all black, took the guns out the safe, and went to find Suge. You know what I'm saying? Suge even spoke about he glad they didn't find him because a whole lot of other people would probably been dead then too, if they would have found him. Now, she testified that, Puff and D-Roc was going to try to, unalive Suge. You know what I'm saying? Now, what I do know this, me and D-Roc had a conversation about why he's so close to Puff now. You understand? And he told me he was in a diner, Mel's Diner. I guess it was probably Mel's Diner. That's one of the diners that stay late open in California. He said that he was trapped in there and he ain't have no burners or nothing on him. He ain't have no guns, no nothing. He said he called Puff. Now, this is a story coming from D-Roc. He said he called Puff, and Puff came there. But if Puff would have came in the diner, they would have known something. He didn't come in the diner. He sent Cassie in there with the burners. And Cassie gave D-Roc the gun in the diner. Now, this is coming from D-Roc. The story Cassie told is that it was a whole different story from what D-Roc had told me, because D-Roc said he was in the diner himself. And Puff came down there with the guns, sent Cassie in there and gave him one, and was outside waiting on him to come outside. So that's the story that I knew, and I had already said that and expressed that in one of my shows before. Now, the story Cassie told, it was like she saw D-Roc and Puff both put on black and went to go unalive Suge. So those are two different stories that I know of, one from D-Roc and the one we heard from Cassie. It may be the same story and Cassie just flipped it some kind of way, because D-Roc told me this years ago. And then maybe Cassie just, flipped it in a certain kind of way because she took the gun to D-Roc, according to D-Roc.
Crazy, man. But to get into this lawsuit, right? Cassie, she testified that Diddy will force male escorts to urinate in her mouth during freak-offs.
My man, that's a touchy and difficult subject when you're a man and you have daughters. You understand? And that's why we as men need to play a prominent part in our daughters' lives, because you get men like this that's got this corrupt and devious minds that they don't respect womanhood. You understand? That's some nasty, perverted things that you want to have somebody urinate in the mouth of somebody who going to be talking to you in your face, who going to be kissing on you, who going to be eating food with you. What kind of deviant and and crazy mind you have to have somebody do that to somebody that you care about, you supposed to care about, that you supposed to love, man. You know, something is sick about that, brother. You can't tell me that that's some kind of fetish. You know what I'm saying? You know, he didn't outdid R. Kelly with that shit right there, bro. When I heard that. So that's an effed up subject and situation, man, to even imagine that you got somebody doing that to somebody that you supposed to care about and you supposed to be in a relationship with.
I just had to get that last part, but man, I just want to know, do you guys really think that D-Roc would line Biggie up? I mean, you know, they say that there's a price for anything. Anybody can be bought. And would he knowingly, you know, line his boy up to, you know, gain financial income greater than where he was at? Leave it in the comment section, man. Let's talk about it. And I, for him and Puff to be extremely cool after his homeboy lost his life and all the allegations and things that came out, and he's still cool. I mean, these days, man, people will do anything, and that's just the facts. You know, you gotta be careful. What Hassan Campbell say? Watch your circle before they hurt you. You know, leave it in the comment section. Do y'all think D-Roc would actually line his boy up? And that's just weird to me that he is really, you know, ended up becoming head of security for Puff and all this. Was that his payoff that Puff promised him them things? And if he did get Biggie out to come to that party, did he knowingly know why he bought Biggie out? That's the question. Leave it in the comment section. It's your boy Kaotic One. This is the KMHP TV YouTube channel, and today I reacted to Gene Deal speaking on D-Roc possibly lining up Biggie, Notorious B.I.G. Until the next video, I'ma holler at y'all. Peace.